Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Um, so today I stayed home from stayed home from school because I'm not really feeling well, and so I was gonna do a get ready with me this morning. I'll probably do one tomorrow morning instead. Um, and I'm just really bored, and I was like, well, what can I talk about on my YouTube channel? So, we're gonna talk about some of my favorite books. Some of them I don't have. One of them is on an app that like this video is not sponsored by the app, but I really like the app. It's called Wattpad, and I'll link the story down below. Like I literally would get so lost in this story, and the only other time I got lost in a story was this one right here, or Crank. But that story is just so amazing. Like I said, I'll link in the description below. The girl is writing a second book or a second story to go with the first one. It's called The Bad Boys Rules, I think it is. And the second book is called The Bad Boys Broken Rules. I honestly cannot wait for that second book. I am so obsessed with it. But I am also currently writing my own story to go into Wattpad. I think I'm about 3 or 4 chapters into that. I'm gonna start writing more stories and stuff, but this one's basically just so you guys can get to know me more and more about my life. I know I've talked about my past life before, but I never went into like great detail about it, and this one kind of goes more into detail about my life and what I've been through. So, my first number one favorite book is this one right here. Every time I talk about this book to somebody, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's that book, with the greasers and whatever." This is not. This is actually based off a TV show. I haven't seen the TV show. There's my bookmark for it. The TV show for the book yet, but it is the OC, if any of you have ever heard of it, and this one is The Outsider. Um, I'm not good with describing things, so I'll just kind of read the back of the book. Ryan Atwood comes from a world where fists do the talking. In Orange County, it's about debutante balls, pristine beaches, and designer boutiques. It's a world where money does the talking. The other kind is done behind your back. They think Ryan is the ultimate outsider. Marissa Cooper is to the OC born. Beautiful, sweet, raised in riches, she's a living SUV driving poster model for Juicy Couture, private school, and sunny popularity. They think she's the ultimate insider. Seth Cohen is from the OC, but not of it. He's got it all, but somehow does it all wrong. He's klutzy and quirky when his peers are snarky and smooth. He collects comic books instead of girls. They think he's the ultimate geek. Welcome to the OC, to the story behind the story. There's so much more than what you're allowed to see on TV. From my perspective, this is Ryan right here. He is born into an abusive, broken home with an older brother, and one night they get in trouble, he gets arrested, and his lawyer kind of grows a bond with him, I guess you can say, and just kind of pulls him away from his life and ends up adopting him, and he just kind of goes through on this journey throughout from going from broke to rich basically, and falling in love with the girl they mentioned, Marissa, and he has a new brother basically, Seth, and it's just a really great story that I can kind of relate to on some topics. But if you're looking for a great book, just read it. I think you'd have to order it because I don't think you can really find it anywhere. The next one is a movie and also a myth legend kind of thing. I'm very into paranormal ghosts and stuff like that. So we have Amityville Horror. Basically the Amityville Horror started. This family got a house, and when they moved into the house, it was haunted and whatever. The story behind it was, I don't remember their names, but there was a family that lived there a while ago, and it was said that one of the brothers ended up killing the whole family, and basically when the cops went there, they found all the family members like this in their bed, and it's said that their spirits haunt the house and stuff like that. And it was like the guy who murdered his family said that it was a demon that made him do it, basically. And of course, no one believes him, and to this day, people say that, it was the neighbors pulling a prank on the family that bought the house and stuff like that. But I personally, there's some things in here, in this stuff, that there's not really anything that you can fake, It's kind of hard to fake certain things. Next is the Freedom Writers. This is the diary. This is based off of, like, real kids' lives. There's a movie that goes with this. And I started watching it last year in my creative writing class. And I found it on YouTube, and I bought it on YouTube, and I watched the full thing, and I just, like, became really obsessed with it. And I wanted to read the book. And some of these kids' lives are, like, ridiculous. I'll read the back of it for you guys again. It's a little lengthy, but I'll still read it. 10 years ago, the Freedom Writer's Diary was published and soon became an international sensation. Today, more than 1 million copies and a major motion picture later, the incredible journey continues. This special anniversary edition features a new afterword from Aaron Gruelle and 10 new diary entries from freedom writers who have grown from troubled teens into productive adults. Whether you're new to the freedom writers phenomenon or if you fell in love with the original, you'll be inspired by how far these remarkable students have come since they left room 203. As an idealistic first-year teacher at Wilson High School in Long Beach, California, Aaron Gruelle confronted a room of unteachable, at-risk students. One day, and basically what that means, like, a lot of them were in gangs and, like, stuff like that, so they were dealing with a lot. One day, she intercepted a note with an ugly racial character and angrily declared that this was precisely the sort of thing that led to the Holocaust, only to be met with uncomprehending looks. So she and her students, using the treasured books Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl, and Zlata's story, A Child's Life in Sarajevo? I cannot pronounce for crap. As their guides, undertook a life-changing, eye-opening, spirit-raising odyssey against intolerance and misunderstanding as they learned to see the parallels to their own lives in these books. The students recorded their thoughts and feelings in diaries of their own. They dubbed themselves the Freedom Writers in homage to the civil rights activists, the Freedom Writers. With funds raised by a readathon for tolerance, they arranged for Miep guys to the courageous Dutch woman who sheltered the Frank family to visit them in California, where she declared that Aaron Gruelle's students were the real heroes. Their effort have paid off spectacularly, both in terms of recognition, appearances on Primetime Live, The View, and All Things Considered, coverage in People magazine and major newspapers, a meeting with U.S. Secretary of Education Richard Riley in education. Since this book was first published in 1999, the Freedom Writers have gone off to college, gotten married, and started careers of their own. Some of them have even become teachers themselves. Aaron and the Freedom Writers started a foundation to help share the proven methods of educational success born in room 203, and they have toured the world sharing their message of empowerment and tolerance. But yeah, so this is a really inspiring book that I obviously started reading again, but I haven't really finished it yet, but I really like it. Next we have, I heard about the book that went along with the show. The show is really popular, and it's something that I really relate to on just like kind of the whole thing, basically. I can really relate to it, and it's 13 Reasons Why. I get that it's like it's going to be a hard book to read, and it's a hard show to watch, but it is really amazing. If you guys haven't seen it yet, you guys need to watch it. It's on Netflix. They're coming out with a second season next year. And honestly, like, my favorite, honestly, right now. I cannot, like, it really touches home for me. And lastly, we have the Odyssey, if any of you have heard of that. And it also has the Iliad of Homer. But in this book, I'm just talking about the Odyssey, if any of you know what that is. It's basically an ancient Greek myth about this guy who goes on an adventure and runs into like a bunch of different goddesses and like cyclopses and stuff like that, trying to get back home. And I just really like, yeah, I love ancient Greek myths and stuff like that. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. So like I said, I'll link down below my Wattpad page, and then I'll also link down the story, A Bad Boy's Rules, or The Bad Boys Rules, I don't know, because that was a really good book, and I hope you guys will read my book and feel inspired. That's like all I really want to do, just kind of inspire people and show people that there's hope to change and stuff like that. So, yeah, hope y'all have a great day and whatnot, and yeah, bye.